I'm here to talk about the fact that Tny Bennett died today. As I was growing up in the early 60s, my father used to be working in the garage and he would have the radio on. He listened to, back in the early 60s and mid-60s, radio station locally in Seattle that would play Louis Armstrong's, Ella Fitzgerald, Oscar Peterson, Bill Evans, Rosemary Clooney, Frank Sinatra, of course, and Tny Bennett. Tony died today, the same age as my father, 96. Tony has always felt like a part of the family to us. Tony has had Alzheimer's since 2015. His doctor, Gayatri Deve, diagnosed it.
Susan, Tony's wife, does a lot of the talking for him.
He recognizes me, thank goodness, his children. You know, we are blessed in a lot of ways. He's very sweet. He doesn't know he has it.
He doesn't know he has Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's is a kind of death for those people that live with you. The magic of music for Tony, or for often many people with Alzheimer's, is that music is the opportunity to resurrect your old identity. It is an opportunity to be seen as the person you were by your family and your friends, or even to connect within yourself. It is profiled in 60 Minutes by Anderson Cooper. Tony's last concert was with Lady Gaga.
When that music comes on, it's something happens to him. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Words exchange with Tony, and then what was really extraordinary is it was time for him to rehearse, because in the run-up to performing with Lady Gaga, he had to really kind of ramp up his rehearsal schedules. As accompanist, Lee Musiker started playing like intro music on the piano. Suddenly Tony comes like shuffling out much more energetically, and he gives a thumbs up to the camera, and he's suddenly making eye contact with everybody, and Tony just starts singing it.
Let someone start believing in you.
Lady Gaga said that during all the weeks leading up to her concert with him, he never called her by her name. He simply called her sweetheart. So that night when she walked on stage and he referred to her as Lady Gaga, she was overcome with emotion.
Hey, Tony.
Whoa! Lady Gaga!
Music is one of the things that can resurrect a person, can give them a sense of identity, and give the people around him the opportunity to respond to the person they knew rather than the person that they had become through Alzheimer's.
Does Tony know his own name?
Yes, he does, very much so, because he's a performer.
Dr. Gayatri Deve is Tony's neurologist, and she diagnosed him. So he knows he's Tny Bennett.
He knows he's Tny Bennett, and he knows how to behave like Tny Bennett. So when he's in the office and someone, if there's a fan who says, "Oh my God, it's you, Tny Bennett," then he gets all, he says, "Well, thank you." And so he changes in that moment. You can see him change and become Tny Bennett, the performer.
And one of the things that must be remembered is that Tony was a person with enough means that he could afford to have the kind of care given him that others would not be able to afford. It's a blessing for him. But for all the caregivers of Alzheimer's victims throughout the world that can't afford or have lost their jobs, it is even worse. Tony kept me in connection with my father in a way that few could. And so his loss is like a loss of a family member, even though we have never met. Tony, you will be missed. In those days and most of the decades of your career, I have heard your music, have been reconnected with my father through you, and so you will be missed. Thank you.